The average American household throws away over 150 eggshells per year. Each one is 95% calcium carbonate, the same compound sold in garden centers as agricultural lime, the same mineral earthworms require to reproduce, the same element that prevents blossom end rot in tomatoes. While gardeners spend $20 to $40 per bag on calcium amendments, the single most effective calcium delivery system in the natural world sits in their kitchen trash can every morning. The garden products industry has no reason to tell you that an eggshell is a mineral deposit, an earthworm breeding supplement, a pH buffer, and a liquid fertilizer all inside the same shell. The record opens inside the earthworm itself. In 1936, Robertson published the first scientific documentation of calciferous glands, specialized organs found in every earthworm species that process calcium carbonate to regulate internal body chemistry. Earthworms do not simply benefit from calcium, they require it to survive. A 2008 study by Briones and colleagues confirmed that these glands function as active carbon dioxide fixing organs, a process that depends entirely on calcium carbonate availability. Research from the University of Michigan documented that earthworm population density is directly correlated with soil calcium levels. A 2006 study by Klock and colleagues confirmed that soil acidity and calcium content are primary determinants of earthworm development, with populations declining sharply in calcium-deficient conditions. Eggshells deliver exactly what earthworms need, in the exact chemical form their biology processes. The connection was never hidden. It was simply never marketed. Here are the 4 eggshell tricks that grow more worms and build richer soil. Trick 1. Coarse crushed eggshells. The earthworm breeding accelerator. Earthworms reproduce by producing cocoons, small capsules containing 1 to 5 embryos. Cocoon production rate is directly influenced by calcium availability. When calcium is abundant, reproduction accelerates. When calcium is scarce, it stalls. A 2021 study by Padmavathi and colleagues documented that vermicomposting treatments containing eggshell powder showed higher earthworm reproduction rates compared to controls without supplementation. A 2022 study by Zorea and Karimi confirmed that cow dung amended with eggshell powder produced vermicompost with enhanced nutrient profiles and supported robust earthworm populations. A 2022 study by Singh and colleagues, published in Agronomy, documented eggshell among supplements that significantly boosted cocoon production in Eisenia foetida populations. The mechanism is straightforward. Calcium carbonate from eggshells buffers pH of decomposing organic matter, maintaining the neutral range of 6 to 7 that earthworms require for optimal reproduction. Crush eggshells coarsely by hand into pieces roughly the size of a fingernail. Scatter 1 to 2 tablespoons per square foot across garden beds. Work lightly into the top 2 inches and cover with mulch. The shells provide a slow-release calcium source that buffers soil acidity over months. Reapply every 2 to 3 months during the growing season. Trick 2. Eggshells in the worm bin and compost pile. The peach buffer and population booster. Every vermicomposting guide published by a major American university extension includes the same recommendation. Add crushed eggshells to your worm bin. The University of Illinois Extension published multiple guides confirming that eggshells should be added regularly to buffer pH and provide calcium for worm health. The University of Alaska Fairbanks Cooperative Extension documented a target pH of 6 to 7 and recommended regular calcium carbonate additions to maintain it. A 2026 study by Velasco and colleagues confirmed that eggshell amendments stabilized pH in vermicomposting system, supported earthworm survival, and produced finished compost with elevated calcium levels. The mechanism is critical. Decomposing kitchen scraps produce organic acids that lower bin pH below the range where composting worms thrive. Without a calcium carbonate buffer, feeding slows, reproduction stalls, and worms attempt to migrate out. Regular eggshell additions prevent this crash entirely. Add a small handful of crushed eggshells to the worm bin with each feeding. The fragments serve double duty as both a pH buffer and as grit, which earthworms use in their gizzards to grind food during digestion, exactly like the grit chickens use to process grain. In your outdoor compost pile, scatter crushed shells between green and brown layers to buffer the acidic phase and ensure the finished product contains plant-available calcium. Trick 3. Fine eggshell powder. The blossom end rot preventer. Blossom end rot is not a disease, it is a calcium deficiency disorder. The dark, sunken lesion on the bottom of tomatoes, peppers, and squash appears when developing fruit cannot build cell walls fast enough because calcium is not reaching the blossom end during rapid expansion. Taylor and Locascio confirmed in a 2004 study that blossom end rot is a calcium-related disorder and that adequate calcium supply during fruiting is the primary prevention. A 2023 PMC review, surveying over a century of research, confirmed calcium availability as the governing factor. The problem with coarse eggshells is speed. Fragments take months to years to break down in neutral soil. A 2015 study by Brunn and colleagues confirmed that particle size is the primary determinant of calcium release rate, with fine particles dissolving dramatically faster. A 2022 study by Hoa and colleagues confirmed that eggshell powder improved crop growth and yield through faster calcium availability compared to whole shells. Dry eggshells thoroughly and grind them in a coffee grinder until the powder is as fine as flour. Apply 2 to 3 tablespoons per plant directly to the soil around tomatoes, peppers, and squash at transplanting, and again when first flowers appear. Work the powder into the top inch and water in. The fine particles dissolve fast enough to deliver calcium during the critical fruiting window when blossom end rot risk is highest. Trick 4. Eggshell tea. The instant water-soluble calcium drench. This trick bypasses every limitation of solid eggshell application. It converts insoluble calcium carbonate into immediately water-soluble calcium that roots absorb within hours. The University of Hawaii CTAHR published the definitive guide on this method, designated SA10. The publication confirmed that crushed eggshells applied alone contain calcium in an insoluble form unavailable for plant uptake. However, when eggshells are mixed with vinegar, the chemical reaction converts calcium carbonate into calcium acetate, a water-soluble form plants absorb through both roots and foliage. The reaction also produces carbon dioxide gas, visible as bubbles. The method is precise. Collect eggshells and remove the internal membrane. Break into quarter-inch pieces. Lightly roast in a frying pan for 45 minutes until dry and lightly tanned, but not charred. Add roasted shells to a glass jar filled 2/3 with brown rice vinegar, at 1 part shells to 10 parts vinegar by weight. Cover with a breathable cloth and store in a cool, dark location for 7 to 10 days. When bubbling stops, the solution is saturated with dissolved calcium. Strain into a clean jar. Dilute the finished concentrate 1 to 1,000 for foliar spray. Mist flowering and fruiting plants just after sundown or early morning to prevent leaf burn. The CTAHR publication confirmed that water-soluble calcium is absorbed through leaf surfaces and delivered directly to developing fruit, providing immediate supplementation during the reproductive stage. For soil drenching, dilute 1 to 500 and apply to the root zone weekly during the fruiting period. The cost is effectively zero. Eggshells are kitchen waste. Vinegar costs under $3 per bottle and produces enough concentrate for an entire season. The commercial equivalent, calcium chloride foliar spray, costs $15 to $25 and delivers the same element in a less biologically compatible form. But it survived. The knowledge of eggshells as a complete calcium management system never disappeared. While the garden products industry was packaging calcium in bags and bottles, University Extension Services published the research that confirms what every kitchen gardener has always had access to. The University of Hawaii CTHR published the water-soluble calcium method in 2013. The University of Illinois Extension published vermicomposting guides recommending eggshell addition across multiple publications. The University of Alaska Fairbanks confirmed the pH buffering mechanism. Padmavathi confirmed the earthworm reproduction boost. Brun confirmed that particle size governs calcium release rate. Taylor and Locascio confirmed the blossom end rot mechanism. Robertson documented the calciferous glands in 1836. Briones confirmed their function in 2008. Traditional farmers across every culture that kept poultry understood the value of eggshells in soil. They crushed them into compost piles. They scattered them around tomato plants. They dissolved them in vinegar and poured the solution onto fruiting crops. They did not know the word calcium carbonate. They knew the shell made the soil better and the fruit stronger. Today, that knowledge is accelerating. Not because the industry promoted it, because gardeners who bought bags of calcium amendment and bottles of blossom end rot spray started asking why the eggshells in their kitchen trash could do the same thing for free. The silence around eggshells as a soil amendment is breaking. You can grow what they made you buy. Start with what you already have. Crush shells coarsely and scatter them on beds to feed earthworms and buffer the pH. Grind them to fine powder and apply at the base of tomatoes when flowers appear. Add a handful to your worm bin with every feeding. And when you are ready for the most powerful application, roast the shells, dissolve them in vinegar, and spray the solution on every fruiting plant during the reproductive stage. The total investment for all 4 tricks across a full season is the cost of a bottle of vinegar. Everything else comes from breakfast. The calcium builds cell walls. The buffer maintains the pH. The grit feeds worm gizzards. The dissolved solution prevents blossom end rot. The earthworm population climbs. The soil improves. The harvest responds. The cost stays at zero. The knowledge was never lost. It was waiting in the eggshell jar, in the worm bin, in the vinegar bottle, in the extension publications, in the hands of gardeners who never needed a bag of anything to grow strong plants in living soil. If this seed was finally freed for you, subscribe to Hank's Gardening Journey and hit the bell. Every like and every share helps break the silence. The next seed breaks free soon.